Hi professional writers, here is the second video about how to format your white papers using the 4 principles of design, which is proximity, alignment, contrast, and repetition. Okay, so I got cut off in the last video with my last kind of tip about contrasts. Here's an instance of contrast done well. You'll notice it's breaking some rules of alignment, like this picture doesn't align with this dark box black here, but it looks good. And so, like, when you're putting together the look of your white paper, follow the rules first, and then strategically break them to see how it looks. Okay, just make sure that you don't wimp out. Go big or go home. Okay. Also, a couple more tips here. I like this because it shows all of them. So you'll notice that stuff that is similar goes together. Like down here, this is the address, and it all goes together, and it stands out because of the contrast box. Okay, and here you get pretty much one alignment with some indentation. Indentation is okay. And here, it's kind of broken and this is not quite aligned. And so this is breaking the rule, but in a way that's effective, okay? Also, there's a great deal of contrast. So this is now much bigger and this is much smaller. And somehow it makes it stand out much more, okay, because of the contrast. Than this, okay? Good, all right. So when you're writing your paper, your white paper, just a quick review, remember that you should have a problem that you're thinking of in the world, a real world problem, and you want to relate that to your business. Make sure that the problem you're talking about is something your business can address and potentially help to solve, okay? Okay, good. Look at the feedback I gave you on your annotated works cited if you have questions about that. All right, so let's review what goes in the problem section of your paper. So when you're drafting the content, now the content is due tomorrow, so I'd like you to have a kind of a draft of your content. Remember, it doesn't have to be finalized, it doesn't have to be perfect, just a draft of what you think you're going to do. Here's what should go in your problem section. You might need to show there is a problem, or the prevalence of the problem. And then in the next paragraph, you could go into the causes of the problem or the history of the problem. And then what bad effects is the problem causing? How is it harming the world or people or the environment or whatever? Okay, so show there is a problem. What are the causes or the background of the problem? And what are the consequences or effects of the problem? So after you show there is a problem and what's causing the problem and how it's hurting people, you can move into the solutions. What are some ways people have tried to solve this problem? Are there any ways that these solutions have fallen short? Any ways these solutions have succeeded? And how is your company working to help? Are they taking these and fixing them, or are they making these even more widespread? All right, the solutions that work, maybe you're doing those even more. Maybe the solutions that have fallen short, you've got a new thing to propose or a new way to see things, okay? Okay. So those are the 2 big sections of the body of your paper. I would suggest writing those 2 first when you're drafting. And then, after you've got those 2 big sections, you can start to put it together. You can give an introduction, big picture of the context of the problem. You can give your hook. You can try to get the reader's attention. Then give the problem section. Then give the solution section. Make sure to give your solution, what your company can do, and then a final conclusion. Okay, let's talk about formatting. So, in your white paper, you're going to need to include your logo. I'm going to show you how to do margins. You're going to need a footer and a header. This is what I think could go in your footer, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to ask you to include text boxes that use contrast. Oops. And also some graphics, tables, charts, pictures, okay? All right, so let's pretend that I am writing a paper, a white paper. Maybe my business is a business that helps inmates after they get out of prison get jobs and get mental health services, okay? And so my paper is going to be about prisoners and mental health and in America. Okay, the problem is that most prisoners in America don't get mental health resources, which is a problem because more of them are suffering from mental health issues than the general population. Good? So there's my content background, okay? Let's start with formatting. Okay, the first thing I would do, I think, is I would insert a page number, okay? And I think I want my page number to go on the bottom. Good. I think I'll leave it on the right. I will show the number on the first page. And if you want to get fancy, you can do this, but no reason to do that. Okay. So right now I have a page number. If you go down here and you double click, this will let you include things in your footer. Okay. So I said in the PowerPoint that in your footer you should include your company name, and my company name is Helping Hands and Hearts, and the copyright, yeah, let's see, Helping Hands and Hearts, and if you do this, that will automatically turn it into a copyright 2017. How about I move this to the middle? Generally the middle. And then over here, I put the title of the paper, which could be Mental Health in Prisons. See if I can figure this out. Okay, mental health in prisons, that's Helping Hands, and the company, phone, or stuff like that. Okay, so I'm actually going to, because of the principle of proximity, I'm going to put this here. Okay, and over here I'm going to put my website and phone. Okay. Good. So there's my footer, and that is going to be the same on every page. So that's kind of nice. There it is, and it will never be messed up. So if I go here and I make another page, hopefully, yeah, look at that. Yay, nice. Okay, after you get in your footer, I want you to insert a header. And I'm going to do a blank header. And in your header, I kind of want you to do your logo, and that means that will repeat on every page as well. And so I made a logo. All right, that's kind of big, so I'm going to make it smaller. So now that will be available on every single page. Okay, so I have, yeah, that's the lines left. See, that's alignment. Okay. All right, so hold on one sec. Let me just make sure that ended up on the next page. Yeah, so good. This makes me happy. Now I want my title. I said the title of this would be Mental Health in Prisons, a study, or maybe mental health in prisons and how about we do mental health in prisons, how communities can help America's most vulnerable, by Erin Casey Williams. Okay, this looks a little boring now, especially because it's centered. Don't worry about that right now, okay? That's just a placeholder right now. Now you'll notice most of the white papers that I gave you, including the samples, have a big kind of indentation here. And so what I want you to do is, and this is on Word, so if you go to View, I have the ruler checked so I can see it. That brings up this thing, which is very helpful to me. And I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to move it in 1.5 to 2 inches, somewhere in between there, okay? And then I'm going to put in a heading, and then I'm going to start writing my text. Now remember, in white papers, no indentation, so I'm just going to start right off by saying something like, in America's prisons, many people suffer from mental illness, and there are no resources available to them when they get out. Okay, so far we have repetition covered through the header and the footer. I think it's time to add some contrast, okay? So remember, you can add contrast by size, by color, by font. If we go back to home, I'm going to make this, instead of Garamond, I'm going to do a sans serif. And I'm going to make that much bigger. And I would like to make it, now you want something that's going to show up, so don't go yellow, and don't go gray, but you want something also appropriate to your topic. That's a little too dark. Let's try orange. Okay, and then I want this to also be Arial, but maybe keep it at 11. And then I want this to be Arial, but I want it to be 14 and orange. What do you think? Maybe I don't want that orange. It's a lot of like troubleshooting and messing with things, okay? All right, so what goes in this big white space here? Well, I'm going to put a text box there. So if you go to Insert, let's see, here we go, text box. Draw a text box, please. And I'm going to draw a text box right here. And then I want to format it, and you'll notice that it has shape formatting. You could shape fill it with the same color as here, and then you can write, go to home, about the author, make sure that's bold, and then back to my general serif font, Erin Casey Williams has, studied with inmates across the country and has a degree in blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm about to run out of time. I'm going to add another video where I keep formatting this thing. Okay, so this is good for now.